Hey, everybody. Welcome to Durables Digest. Now we're the official podcast of Open Brand. I'm really excited about that.
We made it.
Bring the Open Brand. Yeah, awesome. So thank you to the Open Brand team. It's been such a great integration. Um, Today's episode, we're going to talk about Best Buy. I did a walkthrough with Best Buy. I know you have some serious thoughts about Best Buy. Talk about some printers, talk about Amazon. I think it's going to be a fun episode, and you and I might butt heads a little bit for maybe the first time, at least on the
That
air.
we're definitely going to butt heads. I'm gonna just for the sake of butting heads, I'm gonna make stuff up that I know you're going to disagree with. So that's
Okay,
going to be really
perfect.
exciting.
Recording this on a Friday, this is the best time to kind of disagree on something.
It is. I'm still on a high. So my new passion here is hockey. I've been playing hockey for about 2 years. I play defender. I just for a disclaimer, I look like a baby giraffe on the ice. Like just can't stand up. I look like a baby giraffe that was just born that was put on ice. I'm that bad. And this Wednesday, I had the game-winning goal in overtime. Pretty phenomenal. So I just wanted to brag about that just a little bit. I was very proud of myself.
You should be. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Can you skate backwards?
You-
That's how bad you are.
Would you define skate for me? Like, if skating is where you're on your bottom and you're doing this, no, I can skate backwards, but I can only turn on one side. I can only turn with my right foot forward. My left foot, I'm still kind of a little bit squirrely, but I can skate backwards, just not well. So a lot of fun, tons of fun.
Winning goal, that's amazing. Yeah, good job.
Yeah, thank you. But do you want to talk
on the Slack?
That'd be awesome. Please don't. You want to talk about Best Buy?
Let's talk about Best Buy. Yeah, that's great.
Let's do it. Were you there? You went to Best Buy, didn't you? And you did your store walk just like you did with another retailer?
Well, I'm embarrassed a little bit. I hadn't been to a Best Buy store. My guess is 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
And so I was impressed. The scorecard I did previously, I think, should lend itself to more those types of retailers like Lowe's, Home Depot, Ace. Best Buy is its own little thing, like high level, super clean, really good service. The layout is incredible. I think it's because the aisles don't go to the ceiling.
Yeah.
Like I can see the whole store. And if I want to go somewhere, I know where it is almost instantaneously. Whereas if I'm like lost at a Home Depot, I'm sure that's your comfort zone. Like that's your thing. For me, I have no idea where to find anything at a Home Depot. I have to guess, and I'm guarantee you I'm walking the whole store 2 or 3 times. Best Buy, I'm walking in and going directly where I need to go.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love the whole store.
Well, you mentioned that it was cleaned. How about the service? Was there staff there that was helpful for you, and even if you didn't know where to go, they could point you in the right direction?
Absolutely. Of course, I was welcomed upon entry, like normal at a Best Buy. And in every kind of section, someone said something to me, asked if they could help. And so I went through the appliances section, and that's grown a lot since the last time I was there. I went all over the consumer electronics. There was a lawnmower there, which was really cool.
Yeah.
I love that. I guess they're getting into outdoor power equipment a little bit. But the service was, I think 5 different people approached me in about 25 minutes.
Do you think that that's essential? And maybe we're jumping the gun here a little bit, but when you think about their competition and the fact that they've got somebody there asking you questions, how critical is that?
For me, it would be very critical.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of a techie, and I have new TVs, and I've always been buying kind of the newest things. I'm an early adopter, but still, electronics is moving so fast. I need some expert to help me out. Well, like they have every type of electronic there is there, and I'm not an expert in everything, but I'm like, I want to buy this. I'm going to buy this. I'm going to buy this. And so, yes, the service level is critical for me.
Yeah. I want to come back to the shopping experience in just a second, but you touched on something that is pretty interesting to me, which is you don't know the tech that's out there. Yep. And a lot of us, when we were stuck inside, gosh, I hate continuing to talk about the pandemic, but when we were stuck inside during the pandemic, we upgraded so many things. We upgraded our televisions to bigger sets because we were binge watching Netflix.
Right.
We may have upgraded our sound systems. We may have upgraded our digital, whatever the digital devices were. So there was a lot of that upgrade that happened, and people called it like a COVID hangover, where that cycle went up. There was a lot of expenditures, and now we're kind of on that downturn. And I know that Best Buy is expecting a certain amount of people to recover from that hangover coming forward. They've had 10 straight quarters of revenue loss,
Yep.
unfortunately. But my question is, how big does your TV need to be? How many times do you need to replace your tech? Are you actively seeking new tech, or is it a need based? Or so how are you deciding to replace, upgrade, add tech to your personal tech stack, Brian?
I have a fun little story, I think. I kind of went exclusively to Amazon for electronics for a few years. I think I started a little bit before the pandemic, and throughout the pandemic, I have a TV in my bedroom, and my ex-wife used to say it's like watching a movie in the bedroom because it's so big and it's so close to the bed. I don't care. I think it's great. I'd do the whole wall if I could. But the sound went out on it, and I don't get TVs fixed anymore. They're relatively inexpensive now. I just buy a new one. And I thought I knew the size of the TV. Went on Amazon, found the size that I wanted, a good deal. It's an awesome TV. Got it, and it's bigger than I thought, and it barely fits my wall, and it's in a dangerous place. I'm going to break it at some point, and that's an example of I should have gone to a Best Buy. I need to go back to what I was doing before, because going in there and seeing it and experiencing it is, I don't know, if it's kind of a little bit of a lost art or a lost necessity for people in electronics. I think I wish I had done that. I've been looking for sound bars online through Amazon for quite a while. Best Buy has 50 different sound bars I can try out and experience it, and surround sound features. And there's a value to that. Yes, it's more expensive at Best Buy, and probably deservedly so. But knowing me, I'm cheap. I would probably go find the one I want and then probably buy it on Amazon.
That's a huge risk for all brick and mortar, right? Is that
Yes.
showrooming? It's still a thing, definitely. So,
Yeah.
so you said appliances. You were in the appliance section. You said that's a lot different from what it used to be. I know you've also done a shop at an appliance store in a home improvement retailer. What was the difference?
I felt like it was better organized at
Mm,
Best Buy. It, um, it wasn't poorly organized at like a Home Depot or Lowe's. I went to a Lowe's. I just felt like Best Buy there was enough options and well organized and thought out. And it might be just be because of the aisles. It's almost like a maze back there when you're looking at the appliances in a Home Depot and a Lowe's.
yeah.
I felt like I knew all my options, and they had, from inexpensive to very, very expensive options. Good brands, the same brands. GE, Samsung, LG, just like you'd get other places. And you can spend $600 on something. You can spend $3,000 on something.
Right.
I would consider buying appliances there for sure, and I wouldn't
Yeah.
have to go.
So when I look at the average price spent on major appliances, I'm looking at the Open Brand Durable IQ information right now. I can see that the average price, this is over the past 4 quarters, the average price is about $900. Best Buy is roughly 7% higher than that. So Best Buy is actually selling at a higher price than the average. And that includes everybody from Sam's to, BrandSmart and Lowe's and Home Depot and so forth. So if you look at Best Buy, they're higher than Lowe's, they're higher than Depot. So they're
Yeah,
carrying higher end products in some cases. More tech driven products are
yeah,
obviously going to generate a higher price.
yeah. And then the consumer electronics section, I was honestly kind of blown away about all the different brands that had their own sections. That's new to me. And like there was an Apple section. I
Right.
did not expect there to be an Apple department with someone working in that department. And then there's a Windows Microsoft section right next door to it. And I'm used to going to the Windows store or the Apple store, and now I can within 10 feet of each other, I can talk to somebody different about the advantages and disadvantages of each. And that was really cool.
Yeah, and this store within a store concept has been successful for Best Buy for a lot of reasons. One is they lease out that space. So that space is leased to Apple, it's leased to Microsoft, it's leased to Verizon or whoever's in that particular location. So they generate revenue from it. They don't have to staff it, so it's actually staffed by those vendors or those brands. What else do they do? They keep the products fresh, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So there's just a lot of benefit to the retailer for that, especially as they take away the physical media, right? Which happened a while ago. They needed to find things to put in those spaces, and that's why you see lawnmowers. That's why you see these store within a store concepts, and they're pretty successful. And I actually did a little bit of research, and I found that they're actually leaning into this store within a store concept, bringing in Tesla, Lovesac, GoPro, Starlink.
Wow.
So, like, to me, do you hear anything consistent about those particular brands that they're bringing in?
Super innovative, and you wouldn't think of a Best Buy, right?
Well,
You
I
could buy
wouldn't.
anything Tesla related or Starlink at a Best Buy.
I wouldn't think of an Amazon, right?
Oh yeah, definitely not.
That's the difference. I wouldn't think of Walmart. I wouldn't go to Walmart to buy a Lovesac, or I wouldn't go to Walmart to buy Starlink products. So I think it further differentiates, to your point, the innovation that Best Buy is leaning into, and then also that particular price point, and just trying to draw in the right customers.
Yeah, and I was surprised. If you're going to do a store within a store, you should probably expect a Microsoft and an Apple. But there was a Ring section. There was a Simply Safe. Eero had a little section, and there's smaller brands, more niche brands, like tons of like home security brands were there, and I was really impressed with that. The options that I had with a store within a store concept,
Cool.
and I did notice also that they're really pushing the Copilot AI in the Windows section. Everything is Copilot, Copilot, Copilot. So they're going after people that are super innovative and want the latest and greatest. You can kind of tell there.
Everything has to have AI in it, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And I don't even know if people know Copilot is AI. I doubt they do. They probably have to ask.
Right.
Anyway, it was fun.
Yeah, well, good. Any other key findings, interesting insights that you found?
It was cleaner than I expected. That was the only other thing. And I bet that's Best Buy is probably like a lot of retailers that you go to one Best Buy and it looks immaculate. You go to another and like, oh wow, what happened here? It looks like 1997.
Were you thinking like surgical needles? Like what were you thinking? Like when you say it was cleaner than you expected?
It was just a pleasant visual
yeah.
experience, I guess.
Updated, modern.
Yeah, updated and modern. Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Because it's easy. When you think about the expenditure to just replace the carpet in all of your Best Buy stores, that's not insignificant. So to redo all the resets and everything, again, that could be part of the store within a store concept. They could write that into the contract that says, Microsoft, you got to make sure that whatever you have fits these particular guidelines and specifications, and it has to be updated. I'm making this up, but if I was writing the contract, this is what I'd say. It has to be updated every 18 months or whatever the case might be.
Right. That was fun. I'm glad we're going through, or at least I'm going through this exercise. It helps me when I'm looking at data or seeing trends, like you mentioned, trying to put the store together, and that's really what we're trying to do, right? It's not just data. People can look at data and understand the data. It's the context around the data. It's understanding like what you know about Best Buy and what their strategy is, and that's where really the key insights come in.
Yeah. So I want to introduce a bit of controversy here, and I want to do it just with the perspective that I'm an analyst, I'm a marketer, I'm a lot of different things. I have a perspective. Other people might have a different perspective. So I just kind of want to introduce a little bit of controversy. Are you ready? Do we need Best Buy?
Do we need Best Buy?
The null hypothesis is this.
Okay.
We do not need Best Buy.
Oh gosh. Okay. So I got to prove to you that we need the Best Buy.
Yeah. Prove to me that we need a Best Buy.
I do think in society, consumers need the ability to compare and contrast various brands in one spot.
I have that.
You could probably do that at Walmart.
I can do it on Amazon.
You can do that on Amazon. You need to physically be able to do that.
Why do I need to do that physically?
You can. This might be a little bit you can smell it. You can smell the laptop. You can hold the laptop and see how much it weighs. Whereas
Hmm.
Amazon will tell you it is 16 ounces. What does that feel like? How does that fit in your hand? We're working from home, and I don't know about you, but a different laptop type can work very differently in your home. And it's not something you kind of think about until you experience it. Like laptops where the numbers are for me, I'm in my numbers a lot, right? I need a number keypad. Some of the laptops don't have it. I'm not sure if you can see that or you think about seeing that on an Amazon, but I
Mm,
see that in Best Buy and I can compare, oh, wow, this one has this function that I need. This one has this function I don't need.
yeah.
Um, and I think that's probably a similar story with many, not all, but a many different consumer electronics.
And to be fair, you did already kind of answer that question. The first one was with your TV, that if you had gone and looked at it, you would have known that it would have been
Well,
grotesque on your wall.
no,
The
most people
sound
probably
bars.
would have measured it or known the size. I didn't do that. I just assumed that
Right.
I assumed it was a 70, was it 73 or 74 inch TV. It was really a 65, and so it's too big. I think I might be an outlier in that respect. But yeah,
Right.
there's probably a lot of people that are doing similar things that they thought something was right, so they just bought it on Amazon and it was wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. So the importance of product reviews, the importance of Q&A on these online retailers, like, do you think that that's a replacement, like that, or is it an augmentation? I mean, I have some thoughts.
I mean, obviously, Amazon does a really good job with the reviews, and Google does a really good job with all the product reviews. Um, I love getting customized service and be able to ask a human being a question in the store,
Hmm.
and knowing that a section's hired by Apple or a section's hired by Microsoft or Google, I might not trust the level of service I'm getting rather than a Best Buy employee who might be unbiased and should be knowledgeable about all of those. So I
Mm,
would want to ask somebody, should I buy this tablet or this tablet or this tablet?
yeah.
If I go to I'm going to get a different story every section I go to. That's somewhat problematic. And
Right.
I know I can compare and contrast on Amazon,
Yeah. Now,
but
I'll give you another positive here, because I
yeah.
have two columns, right? I'll give you another positive, and that's their Geek Squad service.
Oh yeah.
So my most recent experience is that my laptop, I dropped it. I didn't drop it. Like, somebody else did it. But my
Oh,
laptop screen was cracked. I'm sure it was my fault. The fact is, I had the Geek Squad service that was no matter what. If you
well,
drop it, if you drop it in the pool, whatever the case might be, they will replace it. And so I brought my laptop in and I said, here's my receipt. They looked it up. They said, did you do this? Did you do this? Did you back this up? Make sure this happens, all these things. And to your point, Brian, having a physical human tell me this thing and then me respond, you might be able to fix
yeah.
that with AI. You might be able to, but there is something about that human experience, and not everybody is this way. Maybe digital natives are really a little bit different, but for me, that human experience of ensuring that I had the confidence that I wasn't messing something up, that when I got my laptop back, I was going to be able to get my information back. That was kind of a big deal. And
Uh,
they also have a membership model as well. I'm not sure if you're
oh yeah.
familiar with that. So
No,
the membership actually provides tech support at the higher levels. So for these maybe the older people or people who are maybe a little bit less comfortable with technology, that could be very valuable for them. And as I looked at like CE and small appliances, obviously Best Buy is going to, I don't know if it's obvious, but to me it was obvious, Best Buy over indexes. So about 14.5% market share in total, but 15.5% of maturers buy there. So really kind of an over indexing on the higher end.
yeah, that makes sense. And I think what your original point was when we first started this conversation was, are we going to go back to that, or are we stuck in this Amazon era of just buying everything online? I think the fact that they're entrenching in the store within a store model, I think this pendulum will swing back somewhat among some groups of people.
Yeah.
Whether that's enough for Best Buy to continue that model, I don't know. But I think there are enough people out there that want all the benefits that we're talking about. I think it could be very successful.
Yeah, it's clutch though to be digital, right? It's clutch to be
Yeah.
online. They can't not do that. And they just released an entirely new ad structure. They redone their logo or their imagery. One of the things that they said is there's new innovation coming, and consumers are looking for someone that can help them sort through complexity and also help them inspire them and find new things that help them take what they love to the next level. And that's pretty tough to do online. I guess my question is, are they? Are people really looking for taking that tech to the next level, or are they just looking for the cheapest thing? Particularly with inflation really high, I think that sometimes it's just about getting what you need at the lowest price. So they have to be careful there. And I've kind of conflated two different things. I started on the digital marketing, right? Their new campaign, they're leaning into that, and they're really trying to be online, because when you shop for products, you're absolutely doing that showrooming, as you mentioned. So they have to be present. They have to be present online, and they have to communicate the benefits of their products and services. And as a marketer, that is one of the most important things.
Absolutely. Well said.
Yep. Yep. Thank you. The other thing that's pretty cool is, return policies and the ability to take that product and return it to the store.
Oh, yeah.
You can obviously do that. You can have UPS come and pick it up for different online retailers, but to be able to walk into the store and return that product, what was wrong with it? Do you want a different one? Do you want to exchange it? That's super helpful. Being able to get that product right then and there, an upgrade or a replacement, that's a big deal.
And I think Amazon's done a good job with that as well, with their
Mhm.
partnerships that they have, right? So I can go into an Office Depot, I think Kohl's, and I can return something really quickly.
Right.
So they clearly recognize that as something that other retailers had an advantage on them on, and try to close that gap.
Agree. So back to your store walks.
Yeah.
Anything else? Did you walk by? You said Microsoft computing. They have things like monitors and printers and things like that strewn about the store as well.
Yeah, gaming stuff, which is obviously a big thing. I wish I
Yeah.
could have stayed there. It's like a little playground for electronics, honestly. I'd like to stay there. And this will age me. I'm sure you remember this too, but you just bought music there
Yeah.
and movies, and it
Hmm.
has completely transformed itself into this giant electronics and other things to buy that is really cool. Like a play, go in there and play.
I've thrown out a few data points here because I did do some digging in advance. One of the things that I found was really cool is we talked with Greg Munvies about the integration of Open Brand and Trackline and all the different products and services that Open Brand brings to the table beyond just the market measurement. So Trackline has kind of that market measurement, but Open Brand, with the integration of Gap Intelligence, has added these analysts, and we have some really cool reports. I don't know if you saw the printer section there, but we've seen that HP. I saw a report, an analyst report from Val. She said that HP leads the in-store printer discounts, $83, like in-store $83 discount on a printer. That's a pretty significant number. So we've got reports on discounts. We've got reports on new products that are coming out, like Canon introducing like an automated workflow, different kinds of things. So I would encourage you to reach out to us if you're interested in any of those analyst reports. We can pull those for you and shoot them on over and talk about how our analysts can help you better run your business.
Yeah, I was so excited to see this, the market intelligence report on business printers. Super professional and well thought out. So much information in here with highlights. And I'm so excited to see how we begin to combine our expertise and their expertise to add just so much more value, because, we do work in a lot of the same categories. We know
Right.
a lot about consumer electronics. They know a lot about consumer electronics, and just kind of doing this combination of 360-degree, hopefully, insights for all of our clients. And yeah, really well done.
Yeah, and I can attest to just how pleasant and professional and insightful the analysts are. We've had several calls with them, and they are just awesome.
Awesome. Can't wait to go out to San Diego and meet a couple of
Let's do it. Let's do it.
them. uh, should we talk about a little Amazon news?
Let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah, so Amazon, Prime Day. Did you buy anything on Prime Day, by the way? How much did you spend on Prime Day? Is
Is
another
my
question.
wife listening? I did buy some things on Prime Day. It's interesting. I actually bought something the day before Prime Day, and then looked at it again on Prime Day and it was cheaper, and I was very irritated. And so I called into customer support and I said, look, this is discounted. And it was not an insignificant discount. This is discounted today and it wasn't yesterday. And they gave me a credit for it, which was awesome.
Okay.
They didn't even, it was a manufacturer. So it was a third party product, but Amazon gave me the credit on my Amazon account. So they actually ate that amount, if I'm not mistaken, which was pretty cool.
Well, that's good customer service, right?
Yeah. So anyway, I did buy a couple of things on Prime Day. How about you?
I put a couple things on my shopping basket, and then I got busy, and I forgot about it. So I bought 0 items on
Good
Prime
for you.
Day.
Good.
Yeah, good for me, right?
It's better that way, yeah.
And they were still in my basket, 2 days later, and I looked and this is not the price I was going to buy it at. Didn't even buy them. Right. But yeah, it looks like, according to the article here, the record consumer electronic sales on day 1 of Prime Day, which is 2 days now. It's Prime Days.
Yep.
Shouldn't be a surprise. I wouldn't expect these numbers to ever go down.
Right.
What is the number here? Estimated record $7.2 billion in revenue. 1 day. Not a bad day.
No, not a bad day. It's an easy way to pay for your yacht if you're Jeff. That is insane.
Yeah. Television sales up 83%. Fitness trackers and tablets up 81%. Some of these numbers are really staggering.
Yeah, it's a good benchmark on either the new product adoption or the replacement cycle. So looking at TVs, what's the penetration on TVs? Household penetration on TVs has got to be 100%, right?
Yeah.
So the fact that those sales are up 83%, it tells us about the replacement cycle for televisions. Now, obviously, that's incented by huge discounts, but still, those are the kinds of tech products people are looking for.
And I should say that's first day sales increases.
Yeah.
So I think they're really pushing people buy them early.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of, I'm going to wait till day 2 of Prime Day. So they're really pushing, I guess, the people buy, hey, on day 1, we're pushing consumer electronics. And they clearly saw some benefits out of that.
Brian, we have dug in. We've kind of already done data bites. We've done them in line with with this particular podcast, which I think is fun. We've talked about the generations. We've talked about ship to store, buy online. So I think we've done a lot of the data, but I think we've done a pretty good job of outlining some of what we found at Best Buy as analysts and consumers. What do you think?
I agree. We just released our Q2 data from Durable IQ. There's a lot of data out there that complements what we talked about today. It's almost too overwhelming to really focus on data bites sometimes. But you were well prepared in data today, so I was really impressed. Good talk.
Thanks. It was a good talk.
And hopefully Best Buy doesn't go away.
They will not go away. I don't see that anytime soon. We talked about some of the benefits that they offer, between Geek Squad and between physical products and listening and feeling and touching to on different products. And then, of course, there's segmentation and all of that. So I think they got a strong value proposition, but they can't sit back on their heels. That's for sure.
Well, any final thoughts before we go, Eric?
Loved it. Had a great talk as always. It's always great to see you.
You too. Hope you're not too sore.
I'm looking.
Overtime game. That's a lot of work.
I am not. But I'm gonna make myself a little award. I'm not gonna lie. No, I'm kidding. I'm just joking.
Yeah, right. We need the next podcast. Hey, thanks for listening, everybody. If you have any feedback, you'd like to come on, you have a topic, you want to talk about Best Buy and argue with Eric and I, that'd be great. You can text us at 502-785-3608. And thanks for listening, everybody.
Thank you.